On God, this chapter was wonderful but heartbreaking to see our seminal Deku at a state he is right now. Alrighty, chapter 321 has been released, and oh my god, what a moving chapter it was. This chapter did not disappoint and delivered the emotion pack it had from the last chapter, with Class 1A confronting Deku. So to begin with, this chapter starts off, the number one hero Endeavor showing up to the scene with Class 1As. Endeavor comes in and we see Kirishima, Aoyama, Hagakure, pinning down the runaway escapee dictator. Endeavor tells him the Hawks is on his way for backup and asks the three to secure the perimeter. However, Kirishima says to Endeavor to have Best Genius to do that because he wants to go there where Deku is, as he has a lot of things to say to him since Deku's departure from UA. So him, Aoyama, and Hagakure all ran off to go after Deku, and Endeavor, seeing their determination, says out loud, Hawks, make sure no one bars them. After that, it transitions to Todoroki and Asui near Deku, who is trapped by the huge eyes made by Todoroki. Todoroki tells Deku that he's most likely falling into All For One's plans, as Deku has been overexerting himself trying to find All For One. All the while, as Todoroki tries to desperately get these words through Deku to come back to UA and have his classmates support him. But of course, this doesn't change Deku's disordered mind, with his thoughts clogged up with your next messages from All For One, which made Deku snap back with pure woke emotions, as Deku claims himself that it's a fight between One For All and All For One, and saying his friends won't be able to keep up with that. After saying that, Deku manages to break himself from the ice, which I thought to be the case from my last manga chapter review. Seeing this, Tenya yells out to Uraraka to get her attention, and we see Asui using her tongue to launch Mineta to go after Deku, and surprisingly, despite his short stature, Mineta attaches himself to Deku by having his great balls clumped as a bracelet to stick onto Deku. With them close together, Mineta tells his thoughts on Deku as he goes back to the USJ incident, where it was Deku's judgment to think of solutions from the top of his head that saved Mineta and him from those villains despite all the fear and odds, which got Mineta to admire Deku. Hearing that, the only thing Deku could do, his Black Whip quirk to slingshot himself away, and while doing that, Deku replied to Mineta that he doesn't recall that memory, which was a big lie as you could tell from his face. Mineta's comment got good, straight at the heart. Now while he's slinging himself, we see Uraraka, who we all know likes Deku and Deku likes her, just above Deku using a gravity quirk, telling him, I won't let you go, Deku. Uraraka tries to talk to him, but Deku keeps his eyes shut and leaps away from her, not wanting to hear another thing. As that happened, the Deku pursuit didn't end off there. No. Class 1A weren't gonna quit. As we see the remainder of Class 1A, down below, as you see Ashido using her acid quirk to make a shield for Bakugo and Todoroki. And just behind him, Sado, Koda, Soji, and Dark Shadow, and the rest of the class are pushing them off this ice that Todoroki made earlier. In this plan, I love how the whole class collaborate here with their quirks, as Todoroki uses his move Heatwave Flash Fire to give Bakugo a massive boost to fly up from this massive ice ramp. And once Bakugo gets shot up while carrying the acid barrier, Uraraka from high above touches the acid barrier to keep them going further up. And while mid-air, Bakugo uses his explosive quirk to launch himself even higher. And from this panel, with the cluster bombs he made, seen afar from third point of view, was beautiful to look at. Being in mid-air, Bakugo in his thoughts tells himself he has something to say to Deku, but instead he realized that's not him being him, so he'll probably be a mub if he caught up to him. So Bakugo believes that it's best to let this guy to catch up to Deku, because this guy can keep up with Deku's speed. And you may be wondering what's Bakugo talking about? Well, it turns out to be revealed is no other than the Class 1A president, Tenya Ida, who was the one underneath the acid barrier. Tenya Ida latches himself towards, managing to take Deku by the hand. Deku noticed and tells Tenya to release him, but Ida was quick to reply no by proclaiming himself as a hero in Genium, will always rush to the aid of lost friends. Following up with that statement in this panel, we see tears falling down Tenya's face, responding to Deku, what's a hero if he doesn't stick his nose into other people's business? Hearing that up close by one of his friends has just left Deku speechless and caused him to form tears in his eyes by that moving sentimental moment, as the manga chapter ends there. With that wrapped up, oh my god, this chapter has blown away my freaking mind, just like the last chapter. Like damn, that Tenya Deku moment right there just has to be the final nail in the coffin on Deku's stubbornness, and I believe Deku will finally give in once he realizes he can't do this alone and will desperately need the more support from his friends now more than anything. Also, I remember in my last video review about my predictions for this chapter was Deku will release himself from the ice entrapment and he will have to confront Tenya, which I said around here. I predict that once Deku somehow frees himself and lands, I would say that one of Deku's close friends, Tenya Ida, will take his turn on persuading Deku to come back, whether it be through words or combat. And it turns out I was pretty much spot on. Since I predicted that to happen, why not give it another shot? So my prediction for the next chapter chapter is Deku will be hesitant to say he wants to come back, but seeing that they're so high up with nowhere to land, Hawks will arrive to catch them from falling. And while safely landing, Hawks gives advice to Deku, where working together is something heroes do to help others and themselves, to give Deku a better understanding, to give himself a breather, and rely on his friends to support him and themselves to be able to go after All For One. All that said, I think this could play out in the next chapter, or at the very least something along those lines. With that stated, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, please give this video a like, as well as follow my Twitter down in the description below. And if you want, consider subscribing to my channel for more manga chapter reviews, and see y'all next time in the next video. Peace.